अब हमारे लेफ्ट पे है अस्हाबुल यमीन व अस्हाबुल यमीन। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यिदिल अंबिया'i वल मुरसलीन हबीबिना व हबीबि रब्बिल आलमीन। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। सुब्हानक ला इल्म लना इल्ला मा 'अल्लमतना इन्नका अंतल अलीमुल हकीम व तुब अलैना इन्नका अंtat तव्वाबुर रहीम। So what chapter were we on? Who remembers? It's the chapter everybody likes. Moderation. Moderation in ibadah. Do a little bit less. Don't push yourself too much. But of course, as we talked about last week, there's a need for a person to push themselves. But that pushing shouldn't be unsupervised. Rather, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised the Sahaba what to do. And today, inshallah, we'll go over certain ahadith that will mention the consequences of what will occur when a person puts so much ibadah on themselves and they don't take into account the advice of, their shaykh, their elder, their alim, somebody who can advise them. Because again, if a person were to try to do everything, if we were to look, Kitabul Adhkar, Imam Nawawi, he wrote this. It has many of the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If a person were to try to read all of these du'as daily, you won't be able to. The book is 600 pages, right? If a person were trying to do all of the ibadah that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, you hear this in this hadith, you hear this in this hadith, you hear this in this hadith. On top of that, you hear that this is this amal of this sahabi, this amal of this sahabi, this pious person did this pious person this. You won't be able to. You'll become overwhelmed and you'll go into almost like a vegetative state. You eventually won't want to do anything. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, do, work, try, but with some type of guidance. Now we're coming to this next hadith. وعن أنس رضي الله عنه قال, Anas رضي الله عنه, he narrates, دخل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المسجد. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, he entered the masjid. فإذا حبل ممدود بين الساريتين. He found a rope that was tied between two pillars. فقال ما هذا الحبل. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, what is this rope? So the people said, قالوا هذا حبل لزينب. They said that this rope is Zainab radiyallahu anha, Zainab bint Jahsh, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Before we go forward, there's going to be another hadith that's going to come as well. I'm just going to preface this. All of these ahadiths that we'll go over today, or some of these ahadiths, you'll see that the Sahaba, they talk to somebody's wife, or they know that Zainab radiyallahu anha used to come in the masjid. Easy answer to all of this is that these incidents probably took place before the ayat hijab was revealed, right? That was revealed later on in Medina. Prior to that, there would be a little bit more coming and going and conversation and all of that, right? So anyway, they said that this rope, it belongs to Zainab radiyallahu anha. What is it for? فَإِذَا فَطَرَتْ تَعَلَّقَتْ بِهِ. When she gets tired, meaning that this rope is hers, she will use it at tahajjud time. When she becomes tired, تَعَلَّقَتْ بِهِ. She holds on to the rope so that she could stay up, so she could support herself, so she could keep praying. I don't know if you guys have ever, sometimes in Taraweeh or Shabina, if you remember, in India, Pakistan, Shabina. So you're praying and after 1 hour, 2 hours, you kind of fall forward, right? You start to doze off. That happens, right? This is something like that. So if she begins to doze off, if anything begins to happen, then what? This rope will catch her. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ, or if she's getting tired, she could take support on it. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ حُلُّوهُ. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, untie it. لِيُصَلِّ أَحَدُكُمْ نَشَاطَهُ. A person, any one of you should pray while they have energy. فَإِذَا فَطَرَ فَلْيَرْقُدْ مُتَّفَقٌ عَلَيْهِ. And when they become tired, go to sleep. Don't continue praying. Don't continue pushing yourself. Why? The next hadith is going to explain why. وَعَنْ عَيْشَةَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا. And why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why did he not like this rope of hers? Because it's ghulu. And we talked about last week, ghulu, taking things, over-exaggerating things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't like this. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He doesn't like this. There's no place for it in deen. Ya ahlal kitabi la taghlu fi dinikum. O people of the book, don't do ghulu, don't over-exaggerate in your deen. Because when the Christians did ghulu, this led to shirk. And when some Muslims, they do ghulu, for example, in the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, over-exaggerate, it leads to shirk as well, right? Other people, they do ghulu, they do over-exaggerate love of certain pious people. This could lead to shirk. A person does ghulu in ibadah, this could lead to a person becoming burnt out and not doing anything. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought this deen that is completely balanced. So he didn't like that there was ghulu. He said, no, go to sleep. وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا نعس أحدكم, when one of you begins to doze off وهو يصلي, while praying, you're praying, you begin to doze off, you go into sajda. Where am I? What rakat am I in? You have a nice dream during sajda. If a man falls asleep in the sajda, their salat won't break. Why? Because you won't be able to maintain that position if you're actually in a deep sleep. Whereas if a woman falls asleep in sajda because her knees, her chest and stomach should be resting on her knees, the wudu will break, because that's a position where you get relaxed. Okay, anyway, إِذَا نَعَسَ أَحَدُكُمْ وَهُوَ يُصَلِّي, when one of you dozes off while praying, فَلْيَرْقُدْ حَتَّى يَذْهَبَ عَنْهُ النَّوْمُ, and Rasulullah said, go to sleep until this tiredness goes away. Now this, in other hadiths they explain, finish the salah. You don't stop the salah right then and there and go to sleep. Rather, you complete the salah, then you go to sleep until the tiredness goes away. Is there a lot of feedback? I'm feeling it. فَإِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ إِذَا صَلَّى وَهُوَ نَاعِسٌ لَا يَدْرِي لَعَلَّهُ يَذْهَبُ يَسْتَغْفِرُ فَيَسُبُّ نَفْسَهُ مُتَّفَقٌ عَلَيْهِ. Rasulullah said, because if one of you prays while they're dozing off, while they're very tired, they will not know. Perhaps they mean to seek forgiveness for themselves, but instead they curse themselves. Muttafaqun alayh. Right? Now, person said, well, brother, they had a good intention. Why? So why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it that they curse themselves? But great scholars, they said that the reason that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he warned against this is because there are sa'atul ijabah. There are times in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts any dua. Don't make a dua against yourself at this time. And so I was thinking, it sounds harsh, but Hazrat Shaykh Maulana Zakaria rahmatullahi alayh, he writes in his autobiography, Abditi. He writes that when the partition of India and Pakistan was taking place, it was a very emotional time. People were screaming slogans in the street, we want to fight, we want blood, we want jihad, this and that. All of the scholars were advising me, don't say these things, we want peace. You want your own country, we want a different country, go. Some people are staying back, other people are going. Let's stop with all the slogan, we want blood, we want jihad. Hazrat Shaykh said this happened during Ramadan. People were doing all of these slogans, and then massacre started. Sikhs began killing Muslims left and right, murdering people, killing trains full of people. Hazrat Shaykh said one of these people's du'as, they must have been accepted. These people didn't realize that they're making dua, but they keep saying this, and they said it at a time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts du'as, it was accepted in a way the person they didn't want. So Rasulullah says, if you're tired, go to sleep. Of course, this is all about nawafil. If you're tired in fard salah, that's problematic, because fard salah is not that late. Fard salah is not that long. You have to take care of that. When it comes to nawafil, if a person is getting tired, take a break and continue. The next hadith, وعن أبي عبد الله جابر بن سمرة رضي الله عنهما قال كنت أصلي مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلوات. Abdullah bin Jabir bin Samura, Abi Abdullah, Jabir bin Samura radiyallahu anhu. He passed away in the year 66 and he narrated 146 ahadith. In one other riwayah of this hadith, he said, I prayed over 2,000 salat behind Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah, 2,000 salat behind Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If you try to run the math, let's say what is 5 times 300? 1,500. Yeah, he'll easily get 2,000, right? 2,000 salats he prayed behind Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَكَانَتْ صَلَاتُهُ قَصْدًا وَخُطْبَتُهُ قَصْدًا. He said Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his salat was average length, his khutbah was average length. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short. Again, showing that a person should have moderation in everything that they do. There is one thing I will say about the khutbah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was blessed with jawami'ul kalim, concise, comprehensive words. Each word of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like a pearl that had an entire ocean inside of it. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could say something very briefly, but it would have such a profound impact on the people, such that these ahadith you'll find, I don't mention it all the time, there's many fiqhi masail that could come out of one or two words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw the brother of Anas radiallahu anh, his name was Umayr. Umayr had a bird named Nughayr. Nughayr died. Umayr was crying. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to him and said, Ya Umayr, ma fa'ala Nughayr. Oh Umayr, what happened to Nughayr? The fuqaha, they pull out 20 plus fiqhi masail from this hadith. This one statement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Umayr, ma fa'ala Nughayr, 20 fiqhi masail. So now when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's khutbahs were short, he was able to convey everything. Not all of us have that ability, right? Some person, if they go very short, nobody will get anything out of it. Again, if a person goes long, it should be in consideration of the people. The next hadith, this husbands will get happy. Not on what the hadith says, but what I'll say. But this is something I will say that go home, tell your wife. If you don't tell your wife, right? Rather make them watch this. If the video quality is good, right? Make them watch it. Or I have the audio. I have all the audios for all of this. Make them listen to it. Because this is something that has to be told to our women again and again and again. We deal with all sorts of marital conflicts, right? Sometimes the man is at fault. Sometimes the woman is at fault. Sometimes both are at fault, right? But in our society, it's become such that most of the time the woman is believed blindly, right? The woman is believed. But a lot of these conflicts, and again, men are at fault here. I've dealt with a lot of them. There was a person, they called me. Another imam was dealing with. Then I dealt with it. Imam Ihsan dealt with it. We were talking about it. We were like, what did you think? Like, oh my God, this is like a shaitan on earth, right? The things that were going on. From hearing from both sides, right? So like these are all, crazy types of things. Anyways, women, they also play a part in some of these problems, right? And I'll touch on it. وعن أبي جحيفة وهب بن عبد الله رضي الله عنه قال أبو جحيفة, he narrated 45 hadiths. He was a child in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He passed away in the year 72. Ali radiallahu anhu, he loved him a lot. He trusted him a lot. And he actually made him the person that was in charge of the treasure. No, it's back. Maybe that's what's doing it. I think that's okay. No. Okay, let's go. Yeah, he was in charge of the treasury in Kufa. So anyway, he narrates that Rasulullah Akhan Nabiyyu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu, so Abi Juhayfa Wahb ibn Abdullah radiyallahu anhu قال آخى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بين سلمان وأبي الدرداء. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he made Salman radiyallahu anhu and Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu brothers of one another. You know, when the Muhajirun and Ansar came together, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would appoint them brothers. Later on, what happened is Muhajirs would come and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would make two of them brothers as well. So it wasn't just Ansar and Muhajirun. Later on it was Muhajir and Muhajir. So Abu Darda was a Muhajir, and along with that, Salman Farsi radiyallahu anhu was a Muhajir. And not every Muhajir had to come from Mecca. So they were brothers, and they took this very seriously, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this is your brother. They would treat it like a real brother relationship. Just like you go and you check up on your brother, and if you see that your younger brother or older brother is doing something wrong, you'll talk to them. This is how they used to be. So Fazara Salmanu Abu Darda. So Salman radiallahu anh, he went to visit Abu Darda radiallahu anh. He knew that he was in town. He knew that he was in God. فَرَأَى أُمَّ الدَّرْدَى مُتَبَذِّلَةٌ. He saw the wife of Abu Darda. Abu Darda, he wasn't at home, but his wife was at home. But he knew that Abu Darda was around, right? And his wife was wearing work clothing. She wasn't wearing nice clothing. Immediately this put something in Salman. I remember I said it's probably before the ayat of hijab. So the thought came in Salman radiallahu anhu. He said, Masha'Allah, what's wrong with you? Why are you wearing this? Your husband is around. You should be wearing something nice. That's what he's thinking. He said, Masha'Allah, what's going on? She said, قالت أخوك أبو الدرداء ليس له حاجة في الدنيا. She said, your brother Abu Darda, he has no need for the dunya. And in another narration of the hadith, ليس له حاجة في نساء الدنيا. He has no need for the women of this world. So Abu Darda radiallahu anh, he comes. فَجَاء أبو الدرداء فَصَنَعَ لَهُ طَعَامًا. He sees his brother there. He wants to give him a gift. He takes out food. فَقَالَ لَهُ. He says to him, كُل, eat. فَإِنِّي صَائِمٌ. I'm fasting. You eat, I'm fasting. Now we see how Abu Darda is. I want to stop over here. Salman radiallahu anh, he saw that the wife of Abu Darda, while he was around somewhere, she was wearing regular clothing, like not nice clothing. Think in our time like sweats or something like that. Wearing sweats, wearing clothing that you just wear when you're cleaning the house. And he was shocked. He said, something must be wrong over here. And look at our society today. This is the default. Women at home, what will they do? They'll wear these sweats, t-shirt, this and that, whatever, like not nice clothing. But when they go out, what do they do? When they go out, they'll put makeup, they'll put perfume, they'll make sure that their clothing is good. Is that allowed? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ. Number one, stay in your homes. It's better to stay in your homes. وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. Don't adorn yourself when you go out like you used to do in Jahiliyyah. And if you have to go out, فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. Don't speak to women. Don't speak in a soft, nice, enchanting, flirty voice. Don't speak with a soft voice. Speak to the point, directly. فَيَطْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَض. Otherwise, a person who has a sickness in their heart, they might become inclined towards you, right? This is the guidance of the Sharia. Right? In the home, what is the guidance? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that a man should not, if he's returning from a journey, he shouldn't go home until his wife knows that he's arrived. So when they would come from outside, either send somebody to say that he's arrived, or what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would do is he would stay, camp outside of Medina for one day. Then he would go and he'd stay in the masjid for a little while. Once when he was returning with from jihad, Jabir radiallahu anh said, I want to go early, Ya Rasulullah. He said, why? He said, I just got married. Rasulullah said, talk to him. He said, look, give some time. Don't go immediately home. Go to the masjid first, so that the women know that the men have arrived, so that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that, so that they could shave themselves. Meaning, clean themselves up a little bit. Nobody's been around. The husband hasn't been around, and when the husband goes away, it's easy. The mom will just order pizza, order out. The kids, everybody in the house is relaxed a little bit, right? Everybody has fun. But now you're going to be back. And so give her some time to clean herself up, change, put on nice clothes, put on perfume, so she can welcome you. Because the same person, you could see them wearing one thing and you're like, and then you see them wearing something else and you're attracted to them. Rasulullah ﷺ didn't want that even incidentally something would happen that would cause the husband to have some dislike towards his wife in terms of her appearance. But now this is a default state. I have this highlighted here. Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi rahmatullahi alayhi, he said, Bechare wo shohar. He said, unfortunate husband, jisne kitne paise kharch karke joda silwaya, who spent so much money and got clothes made, or zevar banwaya, and got jewelry made. वो तो देखने से महरूम ही रह जाता है. He won't be able to see. यानी जीनत का सामान लाने के लिए पैसे तो शोहर ने ही दिए. The one who paid for it was the husband. लेकिन जीनत का फायदा तो उठाता नहीं. He doesn't get any benefit of it. Right? हकीकत में मुआमला बरअक्स हो गया. In reality, the opposite has happened. इसी का नतीजा ये है जो आजकल नज़ाआत की शक्ल में देखने मिलता है. And this is why so many of these conflicts, they come up. So what is the solution? Right? Because now this is the default. Intentionally, when they go out, they'll go and they'll put good clothing. I'll say, I've seen Hindu women that are dressed more modestly than a hijabi woman. right? I'm not discounting, I'm not saying anything bad. Everybody can do whatever they can do, right? But if somebody is wearing skin-tight clothing, leggings, this, that, short shirt, whatever, and then you have a hijab on your head, and then you have somebody else who's wearing something very loose, who's more modest? Who are you going to be attracted to? Some of these jilbabs, abayas that are worn, they have so much calm on them, so much decoration on them. A person is bound to look, right? A person is bound to look. And then what happens? When they come back home, they take all of this out and they put on sweatpants and work clothes and this and that. That's going to lead to conflict. The Sharia teaches us the opposite. Beautify yourself. A husband as well, a man as well shouldn't bum around. They should look nice. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would go in the house, the first thing that he would do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do miswak, so that his breath smelled nice, right? A person should make sure that they take care of themselves, both husband and wife. And when they go out, the wife should be covered up. The wife should not be talking to everyone. There should be modesty. This will solve all of the problems, right? Others won't be attracted to that. Even perfume should not be put on when you go outside. Oh, how, we have to smell nice. Take a shower, be hygienic. You don't need to put on perfume that's going to attract other people, right? So these are the teachings in the Sharia. I'm not taking anything from myself. This is all I'm extracting from the hadith. So this is something, again, that should be told. Wear nice clothing for our sisters. Wear nice clothing at home all the time. You should, right? When going to sleep, when awake, wear nice clothing. And when your husband goes out of town, do whatever you want. When you go to your parents' house, do whatever you want, right? But not it leads to other problems, right? And then it's a huge problem. Again, if when you go out, you want to get dressed up. When you go out, you want to put on makeup. How is this Islamic in any way? Anyway, now Salman radiallahu anh, he realized that Abu Darda is making a major mistake. So he said, I have to do his islah. So when Abu Darda told Salman radiallahu anh, eat, I'm fasting. قال ما أنا بآكل حتى تأكل. I am not going to eat until you eat. فأكل. So Abu Darda radiallahu anh, he broke his fast. Why? You're allowed, one of the reasons that you're allowed to break a nafil fast is if there's a guest and the guest is going to be upset if you don't eat, or if you're invited somewhere. You're allowed to break the fast, but according to the Hanafis, you have to do qada of the fast. You have to make it up. According to Shafis, there's no qada. Okay? فَلَمَّا كَانَ اللَّيْلِ ذَهَبَ أَبُو الدَّرْدَاء يَقُومُ فَقَالَهُ. When the night came, Abu Darda, he stood up to pray. Salman radiallahu anh said, Nam. فَنَامَ. I said, go to sleep. So Abu Darda went to sleep. ثُمَّ ذَهَبَ يَقُومُ. Then he tried to stand up. فَقَالَ لَهُ. Look at Salman radiallahu anh. He was awake when Abu Darda tried to wake up. This is the love that he had for his brother. In order to make sure that his brother got on the right path, he made his own sleep mahkum. He said, Nam, sleep again. فَلَمَّا كَانَ مِنْ آخِرِ اللَّيْلِ. When it was the end of the night, قَالَ Salman radiallahu anh, he said, قُمِ الْآن, now stand. فَصَلَّيَا جَمِيعًا. They both prayed. فَقَالَ له Salman radiallahu anh said to him, إِنَّ لِرَبِّكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. Your Rabb has a right on you. This is your nawafil. However, وَإِنَّ لَنَفْسَكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. Or لِنَفْسَكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. Your nafs, your body has a right on you as well. وَلِأَهْلِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. And your family has a right on you as well. فَأَعْطِ كُلَّ ذِي حَقٍّ حَقَّهُ. Give each possessor of rights what they deserve. Give your body what it deserves. Give Allah what He deserves. Give your family what they deserve as well. Right? Give your wife what she deserves. Give your children what you deserve. For women, give your husband what he deserves. Give your children what they deserve. Okay? فَأَتَى النَّبِيَّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Then they went to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَذَكَرَ ذَلِكَ لَهُ. Salman radiallahu anh mentioned, or Abu Darda. Who mentioned it? Different riwayat. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ صَدَقَ Salman. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Salman radiallahu anh has spoken the truth. Rawahul Bukhari. So balance is something that is needed. Our ibadah should not be such that it alienates our family. I'll say this, I don't mean this to hurt anyone's feelings. I've seen though, and I mentioned this in class I teach. There's some ulama, they take that class and they have husn zan of me, so I teach that class. I said that I very rarely see, and again, maaf, forgive me, Every work of deen is good. Every work of deen is good. But I very rarely see that if the father is very involved in tabligh, that the children are also equally involved. Now, there's exceptions to that. Sometimes the father keeps the child involved and everything, and mashallah, it passes on to the next generation. But very rarely have I seen that the children, maybe the grandchildren will get back into it, but not the children. The reason for that is because if a person does not do something in moderation, again, in moderation, and it's very easy to take anything out of moderation, this is just something we see in every masjid, right? What happens then is the family is not given their haqq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets his haqq, right? But the person's body gets their haqq because every masjid they go to, ikram is done, they eat biryani a lot, right? But the family isn't getting their haqq. And the issue that happens is alienation happens. Then you say, my child is doing this, my child is doing that. You weren't around to guide them. Again, this is not meant to be a criticism of anybody. Na'udhu billahi min zalik. It's a great work, right? I would encourage, go for 3 days, go for 40 days, go when you can. It's great work. But I'm saying when a person does it, you have to do it strategically. You have to do it in a way that doesn't alienate your family. Because if your family isn't given their haqq. Another thing is you'll see in this hadith, you'll see in the next hadith that we'll do next week of Abdullah bin Amr bin As radiyallahu. Isharatan, hinting, the wives, they're hinting that their husbands are not fulfilling their conjugal rights, right? That's a right of a woman as well. Sometimes a man may think that, that's just me. When I'm done, I'm going to go to sleep. That's not the case, right? The woman also has a haqq. A woman also has their desire, and it has to be fulfilled to the extent that the fuqaha say, like if a man is impotent, then a fast can be done. He should try to get treated. If despite treatment the man is not able to perform, right, then the marriage can be cancelled, it can be terminated. Why? Because there's a haqq for a woman as well. So that also goes into the husband. They also have to make sure that they're also attractive. They also have to make sure that they're dressed good, they smell good, they look good, because they have their rights. So we should just keep these things in mind. Everyone has rights, and even our ibadah sometimes can be lessened to make sure that the rights of others are fulfilled. May Allah give us all tawfiq wa akhiru da'wana.